Focus, our weekly Talk TV program for the ACT, as well as Southern and Central New South Wales. Hello, it's Guy Sweeting. But first up, do you have your pets microchipped? Well, in Wollongong, there's research into the benefits of microchipping humans. To explain why, we're joined in our Illawarra studio by Dr. Katina Michael from Wollongong University. Welcome to State Focus.
Hi Guy, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Why do we need to microchip humans?
Well, there are a variety of reasons why people are looking into microchipping humans.
If we had a little chip actually put into ourselves, what kind of a radiation risk is that?
At the moment, the Food and Drug Administration has actually passed microchip implants in the United States to be within the body and beneath the skin. And they are not really concerned about the health risks posed by implants.
Microchipping is, I think, originally in America, as you alluded to earlier, but what aspect of that research has been conducted in Wollongong?
Okay, well, with regards to microchip implants, it is a global phenomenon, and we do have implantees now coming up all over the world, mostly in North and South America, but also in Europe now we have people that are hobbyists that want to implant themselves. And at Wollongong University in the School of Information Systems and Technology, we are really looking at the social implications of that technology. Maybe in the future, but at the moment I'm hoping that we are really, ironing out all those particular risks and benefits to society at large, and looking at potential niche applications, but really we are concerned more about the implications of the technology and those consequences that we're not really waiting for to happen once the technology is really widely rolled out all over the world.
All right, fascinating stuff. We'll see where that develops. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you. Thanks, Guy.
Thank you.
Back there, they're gearing up.
We got a few people joining. So you and I have been talking about the story that you're doing tonight, this microchip deal.
Yes.
So what is the deal with it?
Okay, it kind of sounds like Mark of the Beast, right? I mean, because that's sort of what comes to your mind at first. And then after diving into this story for the past month or so, I'm learning so much about the people who are doing this. There are basically two different subsets of people here in Dallas-Fort Worth who are really delving into this. You've got the bioengineers, and they're the ones doing the research, all the medical stuff.
These are all the people who got great grades in those classes we didn't get.
Right, the people who we wish we knew that.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
There's another group called the grinders, and they are people who, gauges in their ears. They tend to live on the edge, and they call themselves this. But there's
By the way, Will Clark hasn't even heard all your explanation. He says no thanks already.
Okay, all right.
No thanks.
Well, what's really fascinating about this is people are doing this. They're getting a little, basically skin deep implant. It's about the size of a grain of rice.
Right.
Some of them are doing this so that they don't have to carry a security access badge at work. They just simply wave their hand.
I mean, it's almost like Mission. I'm thinking like a Tom Cruise movie, Minority Report, or
right,
just
like
scanning
that,
yourself.
right? I know. But it's sort of like the future is here.
So do you have to go to a doc for this?
No. And that's the biggest shocker in this story. You are going to be so surprised by where this is happening.
Cassie says Jesus is coming.
I hear he is.
Oh, man. All right, so story tonight.
The Capitol, the controversy over vaccinations heating up again, this time over a bill that would require schools to inform the state which children have opted out of the vaccines.
Some of those who are opposed to vaccinations are fearful of the state getting a hold of the names of those who have opted out. For fear, it's a step towards tracking them down.
I use it every day, literally every single day. It's very useful to me.
She's talking about microchipping. It is a popular way to keep track of pets, but would you microchip yourself? A swipe of your hand to unlock doors, turn on lights, even log into your cell phone or your computer. It's called biohacking, and some people swear by it. We live in a digital world filled with computers, cell phones, even fitness trackers. People use technology for everyday conveniences, but some might be taking it to the extreme by doing something called biohacking.
Show me your hand. Okay, you kind of barely see it.
Chrissy Heichman is among dozens of North Texans implanted with a tiny, low-frequency microchip.
The size of a grain of rice.
So it feels like a BB.
Yeah.
You've seen it before in movies.
It's maybe a little uncomfortable.
But science fiction is now reality.
Now to something exciting. The Mobile World Congress 2016 started with a ban on Monday as Samsung and Facebook announced a major partnership involving virtual reality.
Virtual reality steals the limelight from all of the smart devices at this year's Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. Power players at this show, Samsung and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg.
It's an honor to be part of this great company as we take the next big step forward to a galaxy of new experiences.
Okay, let's try. Put this on 6. We just came here from Montana. There's nothing like this. Maybe you would once in a while.
I've seen the Northern Lights maybe a half a dozen times in
Yeah, but
25
nothing
years.
like this where it goes. It's a huge leap of faith that you're going to come and you're going to see what you traveled so far for. So,
Oh my gosh, look at the shape of that thing.
Now suspected in the largest mass bald eagle kill ever recorded in the state of Maryland.
Well, birds are also at the center of a rare case on Maryland's eastern shore. In fact, Natural Resources Police say that they've never seen anything like it. 13 bald eagles dead in a farm field in Caroline County.
The symbol of America is at the heart of a mystery. Saturday, a man walking an Eastern Shore farm field in Caroline County near Federalsburg found 4 dead bald eagles. He called Natural Resources Police to the scene. Officers
found another 9 for a total of 13.
Walking in the woods looking at our deer stands.
Just a normal day for Glenn breeding Saturday here in Federalsburg on the Eastern Shore. But that was all about to change when he found a dead bald eagle.
When I saw the first one, I didn't know what to think.
And that's unusual. As a matter of fact, that's historic.
What killed them is unknown.
They were fairly recently dead. There was no sign of trauma. There's no sign of gunshot.
Breeding spends a lot of time outdoors and has strong feelings about our nation's majestic bird.
You think of America. I mean, I've got some statues of eagles, around, and it's our bird. It's our country.
Yeah.
And something or somebody has taken another piece of it away.
One unusual thing to see on Interstate 680, dead crows on the shoulder. Now this is right near the Midlothian Boulevard exit going northbound. First News did call ODOT for information, and the spokesperson says crews will remove the dead birds from the road tomorrow. It's not sure how the birds ended up on the road.
Sea lions keep turning up on San Diego beaches.
This was the second sea lion pup found stranded right by the OB Pier in a matter of about 12 hours. But this time, the little guy made it through this opening in the seawall, and locals say he was headed for Newport Avenue. We have some video for you to show you him making his way toward the streets. Very adorable, but very dangerous. Locals here crowded around the little pup, trying to keep him safe. They called police.
A devastating sight in Chile. Dozens of dead sea lions have washed up on the country's northern shore in the region of Antofagasta. This is the grim scene on the beach in Jonitos, seals found in an advanced state of decomposition. Experts don't know how long this phenomenon will last, and according to local media, bodies started washing up on the shore 2 months ago.
Disturbing images of dead fish, even that dolphin showing up in Sanibel and Cape Coral. Tonight, NBC2's Lindsay Fry talked with experts to find out if this could be another effect of the Lake Okeechobee water releases.
It's sad. A lot of the wildlife around here seems to be taking a hit.
Fisherman Whitney Jones has lived on Sanibel for more than a decade. He says it was Tuesday when he noticed this dolphin floating upside down in the water. NOAA took samples of the dolphin's tissue to find out what caused it to die.
We need to solve this because animals are dying.
Tonight, a partial ceasefire is supposed to take effect in Syria. If it does, it would be the first in the 5-year-old civil war there, but no one's holding out hope. We do know the guns will be quiet in one town south of Damascus because there's no one left to kill.
Today, there are a few soldiers left guarding the ruins as the battle has moved on. The drive into Sheikh Meskin is non-stop wreckage, and when you stop, there's silence.
There's just been an airstrike behind me. We're about 5 miles from the center of Damascus.
Canisters filled with explosives rolled out of a chopper. They're cheap, but horribly inaccurate.
baby. Oh!
Look at that, massive waves causing water to run up and onto the North Shore roadways.
This is by 3 tables of Pupukea on the North Shore, just one of the many places overcome by the waves that rolled in one after the other up onto the roadways, pounding miles of shorelines statewide. Good evening, everybody. It's all because the state took some unprecedented action by closing the highway today that kept people safe, all the way shut from Haleiwa to Turtle Bay.
What once were sandy beaches are now just roots left exposed after being pounded by wave after wave.
Driving down the road, it was pretty exciting to see the waves, and haven't seen it like this in a while.
Good evening. It's been a wild day on the water with huge waves lashing beaches right along the southeast coastline. Despite repeated warnings and pleas, lifeguards were flat out performing rescues as the swimmers and surfers risked the cyclonic-like swell.
Moffat Beach was closed too, though it didn't look it. It was like some kind of oversized washing machine. Mate, what's it like out there?
Scary.
The waves here at Moffat Beach are stupidly big, and there's a strange phenomenon going on. There is so much backwash here from when the water smashes into the rocks and then it rushes back. The water is sort of colliding with the waves as they come in. It was a spectacle that drew plenty of spectators.
I'm amazed. It's really big. We've lived here for 10 years. I think it's one of the biggest I've seen.
Even some of the offshore buoys clocked some of those waves at 6 metres. That's from peak to trough, so just huge.
Yeah, I decided not to. Probably smart.
Never seen it this bad here in all the years we've been here. But no, this is unbelievable.
Still, to the frustration of lifesavers, people ignored the warnings.
In the meantime, a lot of people are talking about this story today. An SUV in Memphis completely consumed by flames. In fact, the only item in that vehicle not singed by the fire, a copy of the Bible.
Take a look. A Bible that was in the front seat of an SUV during a fiery crash was not damaged.
Wow.
This happened Sunday in Memphis, Tennessee. A driver sideswiped a man in a Jeep, causing him to lose control and crash. His Jeep burst into flames. Well, good Samaritans, even a canine officer rushed to the rescue. Amazingly, a Bible that was in the front seat was the only item that police were able to recover from the fire.
Oh, it looks completely untouched.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
And the driver was able to escape unharmed too. So all the way around, incredible.
Just down the road, the 145-year-old historic St. John's Church was reduced to just a pile of rubble.
It's a lot of damage right there, and it's something that a lot of my staff have never seen before.
As strangers and neighbors began to help the victims clean up, among the devastation, perhaps a miracle. Bibles at that destroyed historic church were saved, and so were the lives of this community.
Somebody was watching, that's for sure.
It was the scariest thing I've ever had to go through in my life.
Josh Keith was in his RV Tuesday when the storms ripped through. This afternoon, he's back with his brother to collect what's left. He leaves empty-handed except for his mother's ashes and a Bible.
A falling meteor. A small blue object slammed into the ground at an engineering college over the weekend, causing a very loud explosion. A bus driver standing nearby was hit by debris and died on the way to the hospital. Today, officials examined the 5-foot-wide crater left behind, but have not yet determined where the object came from.
All right, you see this? That's the strange sight that lit up our San Diego skies this morning and our phones in our newsroom as well.
Before the sun was up, Frank Redmond captured this splash of light on his dash cam. Robert Quimby is an astronomy professor at SDSU and the director of the Mount Laguna Observatory. He's never seen anything like it in person and said it was unusually bright.
There's a couple instances when it brightens and then fades and then brightens and fades.
And then it vanished. Quimby said it was likely a space rock ripping through the sky.
There was a bright spot in the sky that had a lot of people talking across the southern part of the state last night. That fireball went streaking across the sky.
Now to new concerns about the Zika virus as athletes prepare for the Olympics in Brazil. Soccer star Hope Solo is speaking out, saying she's so concerned that if she had to make a choice right now, she wouldn't go to Rio.
This morning, the Zika virus crisis now striking fear in some of our nation's top athletes. U.S. soccer star Hope Solo saying if she had to choose whether to go to the Summer Games in Brazil now, she wouldn't go. Solo, who helped her team to World Cup victory in 2015, also saying no athlete competing in Rio should be faced with this dilemma.
Zika virus is a scary thing that is very unknown. Hopefully some of those unknowns will become a little bit more known with the research that they do in the following months.
We're certainly sensitive to the fact that this has become a global issue.
A state of emergency is being issued over dengue fever on the Big Island as the state reported one new case, bringing the total number of cases to 251.
Tonight, investigators believe they're getting closer to finding the source of a salmonella outbreak in Estill County. This comes as more illnesses possibly linked to that outbreak are being reported.
Now to a health scare on a local college campus. 100 students are sick at Ursinus College, and tonight doctors are looking into whether it's food poisoning or a virus.
Well, the medical director tells us that the college has never experienced a stomach virus that's this widespread.
Ursinus College says 7 more students reported feeling sick as part of an outbreak that's brought that Montgomery County campus to a standstill. Now, the first reports came in Tuesday. Ursinus says a handful of faculty and staff have also reported symptoms. The school shut down its dining hall and canceled classes because of the outbreak. They still, though, have not figured out just what is causing this.
At the beginning of February, several small earthquakes have shaken Maine close to the Canadian border, and just today, another earthquake recorded near Rangeley.
Earthquakes are becoming more and more frequent in Kansas, with a 3.9 magnitude quake shaking Oklahoma and Kansas just last month. Now, Derby schools want to be prepared.
Substantial earthquake rattling the Sooner State today. A 3.8 magnitude quake hit near Medford around 2:40 this afternoon, according to the USGS. And it was not alone. 4 other sizable quakes struck today, ranging from 2.6 to 3.5 magnitude. No immediate word of any damage. Oklahoma this year has already had more than 90 earthquakes of magnitude 3.0 or greater.
The village of Macadam in southwest New Brunswick has become the epicenter of what is called earthquake swarms. And it's not the first time people who live around Macadam have felt the vibrations from quakes, but the residents say this most recent swarm is the worst they've ever experienced.
It's just like somebody's picking your house up and holding it in the air and dropping it back down.
Others said it was as if a train had exploded through the town, or their home had been hit by an 18-wheel transport truck.
They're like explosions, and they just kept happening.
Tell me what's going on in Macadam. It's quite a mystery there.
And good morning, Heather. That's right, certainly a mystery, and these aren't the kind of earthquakes, or the descriptions of these events aren't the kind of earthquakes that we're used to with the rumbling and the movement. Instead, as you said, residents are saying that they sound like explosions.
I have felt too since I've been here today. It's like a vibration stirring under your feet.
Just before 4 o'clock this morning in Taiwan, people were shaken out of bed by a magnitude 6.4 earthquake.
This is video of a deadly 6.4 magnitude earthquake that hit near the southern city of Tainan, Taiwan, Saturday.
From the air, the extent of the damage is clearly visible. 9 buildings in Tainan collapsed, but the damage is especially evident on the ground. Cars crushed. More than 500 now homeless. Seismologists say the earthquake struck close to the surface.
The entire building was just shaking very violently. It was quite loud.
The quake struck just as the Taiwanese were preparing to celebrate one of their biggest holidays, the Lunar New Year. Now it's a nation in mourning.
I felt it this morning, but a 5.1 magnitude earthquake shook homes all across Oklahoma today. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the 5.1 rating makes it the 3rd largest earthquake in state history. Right now, homeowners say that all the shaking is starting to damage their homes.
People who fell as a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hit near Christchurch today. The quake struck shortly after 1 p.m. Pictures have emerged of a cliff face crumbling into the sea at Sumner Beach.
rough ride for passengers caught in a storm on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship off the coast of North Carolina. Natalie's here. This is some dramatic video.
It sure does. Hey, guys, good morning. Well, the Weather Service had issued a warning for hurricane-force winds, and some passengers say the ship's crew told them about the storm and said they would try to beat it, but conditions were far worse than anyone expected.
New details tonight on the rough day at sea for thousands of people on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship.
That's right. Tonight, a Florida senator is demanding answers, asking why did the ship sail into rough weather in the first place?
When the storm is brewing, you don't go out of port.
Florida Senator Bill Nelson is asking the question many Royal Caribbean passengers have on their minds.
First experience. Only the movies.
But the Anthem of the Seas captain says he didn't realize the magnitude of the storm ahead of time. And he's now defending his decision to set sail with a storm brewing in the Atlantic.
The whole thing was not bigger than this and was up here and it just exploded.
In a video broadcast internally to all 4,500 passenger staterooms Monday, Captain Klaus Anderson, who ordered everyone on board the ship to stay in their rooms, says he's never experienced anything like it.
Honestly, I have not seen low pressure that was not forecasted anything near what we actually experienced.
Several viewers were startled this morning by a loud boom that shook their homes. Several calls and messages came into our information center asking us what was going on.
Now, this remains a mystery. I have put in several calls to various state and federal agencies. So far, no one can confirm what this was.
The whole ground was shaken out here. It was a cement out there, and the house was shaken.
Sue Eastman didn't know what was going on. It was just before 10 a.m. when she heard the loud boom.
It was just a short kind of a boom like that, and you could hear everything kind of shake.
As Sue was trying to figure out what happened, so were several others.
I had people from all over from the lake area here. My neighbors were saying that they felt it, they heard it. People in Morley, up by Everett even. I have family up by Sears, and they heard it up there.
According to the National Weather Service and the U.S. Geological Survey, it was not an earthquake.
It made a rumble, almost like a thunder.
So far, no military bases in Michigan seem to know where the alleged sonic boom came from. According to the Michigan National Guard, there are no planes fast enough based in Michigan that can create a sonic boom. For those who experienced it, it was something they've never felt before.
But it was just like my whole house shook.
Now, controversy brewing in our space community. A group is threatening to file a lawsuit against NASA because Johnson Space Center has banned the word Jesus from an employee newsletter. Anusha Rost is live now at JFC tonight with the decision that some are calling censorship.
This 30-year employee of the space agency remains convinced some Christians at JSC are being censored.
We're committed. We want to stand for Jesus.
The attorney is giving NASA 30 days to clarify its stance on the use of the word Jesus in that newsletter.
Between church and state remains a debated topic, and a newly proposed bill in the Georgia House is contributing to that discussion.
House Bill 870 would essentially ensure students' First Amendment rights. More specifically, it says schools that receive state funding can't be a part of an athletic association that prohibits the student athletes from sporting quotes or Bible verses on their bodies. The bill also says schools cannot participate in athletic associations that prohibit member schools from playing with other non-member schools.
Beyond wearable technology, it's now time for embedded medical implants. It may sound either frightening or exciting to you, but one day in the near future, we might all biohack ourselves. And health wearables are indeed set to make a difference in 2016. But it seems like another trend could soon change the way we treat illnesses, and that is embeddable tech implants.
Real-life cyborgs are now among us. These citizen scientists are altering cells, DNA, even hacking their own bodies with sights set on the future.
I've got an implant in my finger. I've got a chip in my hand.
An underground movement known as biohacking is pushing to advance the human race.
Yeah, these citizen scientists are altering cells, DNA, and even hacking themselves by implanting electronic devices into their own bodies.
What I'm interested in is functional implants that can track my health data, that can make me, a stronger, faster, better human.
These biohackers are the experiment, but they emphasize that years of planning and research are put in before they grab the scalpel. Still, not for everybody. No. Although, I bet the guy with the magnet in his finger makes a lot of money in bars.
I was going to say, that's quite a pickup line.
Yeah,
Look
exactly.
at me, I'm going to levitate rock.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like I said, unless they can come up with a chip that'll clean my house in 1 hour for me, I'm not going to be implanting anything.
You could put a radar in your head or something.
Well, sometimes I feel it's already there.
The only salvation for this sin is the gospel. The only way to really cure that what's on the inside
is understanding that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And so to me, on a micro level, it's understanding.
Nope, and just like that. The Israeli Prime Minister has unveiled a new plan to surround the entire state of Israel with the security fence. The barrier would also seal off all openings in the West Bank security wall.
He says it will take several years to build the fence promised by Netanyahu.
Israel is currently building a new fence to protect a newly built Israeli airport just outside the city of Eilat. Now, in a statement, Netanyahu expressed his intention to surround all of the state of Israel with walls and border fences. Essentially, Netanyahu is declaring a new long-term and comprehensive project that will seal off the entire state of Israel to the outside world.
You may have heard in the news that a potentially major discovery on the Golan Heights was made by Genie or Afek. They have a nearby license. In fact, if you look this way, you can see the general area where they're drilling on the Golan Heights.
Jewish immigration from Western Europe to Israel has reached an all-time high. It's because of rising anti-Semitic attacks.
The Assolan family is among the 8,000 people who emigrated from France to Israel this year.
Part of a multi-year plan to ensure Israel's security.